Ronaldinho just said exactly what we are all thinking about Messi and Argentina. And I promise you, once you hear the actual, raw words he dropped on live television, it is going to give you absolute goosebumps, because he went way further than anyone ever expected him to go. But we are not stopping there, because right now we have got the whole story. Absolutely everything, including every single word Ronaldinho had to say about Messi, every single sentence about Argentina, and a massive, shocking statement that Pep Guardiola just released today about Messi, which has completely stunned the entire soccer world. We have got three absolute bombshells lined up right now. This 2026 World Cup has been, without a single doubt, the craziest, most controversial, and most unpredictable tournament we have ever witnessed in our entire lives. And right in the middle of all that absolute madness, one name has shined far brighter than all the rest. A name that, according to basic logic, according to his age, and according to what the history books dictate, should never have been able to do what he just did. He completely defied and challenged everything we thought we knew about this beautiful game. Lionel Andres Messi, 39 years old. 39. Do you actually realize what 39 years of age means in elite soccer? In fact, it means most players have already been retired for 4 or 5 years. Your physical body is begging you to stop. Your knees, your ankles, and your muscles simply do not respond the way they used to. At that point, the absolute best thing you could possibly do is sit on the bench, offer a little advice to the younger guys, and wait for your farewell match. But Messi is not like most other players. Messi is not a normal athlete, and what he has pulled off in this 2026 World Cup is the ultimate proof. The definitive proof that we are witnessing something that goes way beyond sports, something that completely defies the laws of science, medicine, logic, and everything we believe possible. Who realized this better than anyone? Someone who actually knows way more about soccer than the vast majority of those talking heads shouting on television. Someone who shared a locker room with Messi back when Leo was just a 17-year-old kid who had newly arrived in Barcelona's first-team squad. Someone who protected him, guided him, and taught him how to survive in pro soccer. Ronaldinho Gaucho, the legendary Brazilian genius himself who spent years making absolute pure magic on the pitch every single time he touched the ball. And what Ronaldinho just said in a recent interview with a Spanish television station was so incredibly powerful, so heavy, and so emotional that it completely broke the internet. But hang on, I am not going to share his exact words just yet. Not yet. First, I need you to understand something absolutely fundamental. I really need you to understand the true weight of what it means when someone like Ronaldinho says these kinds of things. You have to stop for a second and think about what this World Cup has truly been like for Messi and for Argentina, because without that crucial context, Ronaldinho's words just will not carry the same heavy impact. Because look, Argentina walked into this 2026 World Cup as the reigning, defending champions of the world. They showed up with that gold Qatar 2022 star resting on their chests, carrying the supreme confidence of a squad that already knew exactly how to win the biggest tournament on the planet. And not only that, they arrived with a Messi who, far from slowing down, far from retiring, and far from being satisfied with what he had already achieved, had decided that he wanted even more, that he wanted to prove once again that he is built differently, and he definitely proved it. Right from the opening match, Messi was an absolute beast on the pitch, but not the kind of beast that scores one spectacular goal and then completely vanishes. No, Messi was Argentina's absolute engine. Every single touch spelled danger. Every pass was a gift to his teammates. At 39 years old, he was outrunning guys who were 10 or even 15 years younger than him. He was dribbling just like he did at 22, and finishing with a precision that gave you actual chills. And the big question everyone kept asking was, how is this possible? How is it humanly possible that a 39-year-old player is by far the best footballer at the entire World Cup? A tournament where the absolute best on the planet compete, where the youngest, freshest players are running wild, the fastest, the absolute fittest, and yet there was Messi, standing high above them all, completely embarrassing defenders who literally could have been his own sons. Do you know what that makes a real soccer fan feel? Do you know what that does to someone who truly loves this beautiful sport? Because it really does not matter which team you support, whether you root for Barca, for Atleti, for Real Betis, Inter Miami, or even the smallest club down in the third division. When you watch a 39-year-old man do what Messi has done in this World Cup, the only thing you can possibly feel is admiration. Absolute pure admiration. And if you do not feel that, you simply do not love soccer. But now we have to face the hard part. The part that really hurts. The part that has absolutely infuriated half the planet and served as one of the major reasons Ronaldinho totally snapped in that interview. because Argentina did not end up winning this World Cup. Argentina, the reigning champions of the world, with the absolute best player of the entire tournament in their ranks, with a squad that was playing some of the most extraordinary soccer imaginable, got knocked completely out, and they did not go home because they played poorly, or because they did not deserve to reach the final. They were sent home because of something that has triggered a massive, monumental controversy: the red card handed to Enzo Fernandez. Enzo Fernandez, one of the most crucial players for Argentina, a midfielder who was absolutely vital to how this team operated, a guy leaving his heart on the pitch every single match. And then, at a critical moment, in a game that decided everything, the referee pulled out a red card, a sending off that changed the course of the Copper Lay match, an ejection many felt was totally unfair and wildly disproportionate. A decision that, in the eyes of millions of fans across the globe, outright stole Argentina's chance to keep fighting to defend their hard-won championship. Do you honestly think that red card was fair? Seriously, as a football lover, my opinion is clear, and Ronaldinho has his. And once you hear what Ronaldinho had to say about that tackle, that ref, and what they did to Argentina, you will fully understand why this massive drama has exploded. But not quite yet. I cannot give you those exact words just yet. There is more context you need. Think about what this does to Messi. Think about what this means for a 39-year-old athlete who was almost certainly playing in his very last World Cup, that this was likely his final chance to lift that trophy once more, only to watch it slip entirely through his fingers, not through his own fault, not because he failed, not because his team underperformed, but because of a refereeing call that tore the match in half. Can you imagine the frustration? What must Messi feel right now? Giving your absolute best, playing like a god at an age when nobody should even be able to, carrying your national team on your back, only for a whistle, a card, an outside decision, to steal it all away. It is devastating. It absolutely crushes the soul. And that is exactly why Ronaldinho spoke out, because he simply could not stay quiet about this. He could not watch the world move on, without acknowledging the absolute injustice committed, without admitting that Messi had been, without a single shadow of a doubt, the tournament's absolute best player, and that Argentina deserved far more than what they got. Now, look at something. Ronaldo. He is Brazilian. Brazil and Argentina are the two biggest rivals in South American soccer. The most intense, deepest, most visceral rivalry on the entire continent. When a Brazilian speaks highly of Argentina, that alone is news. But when Ronaldinho, an absolute legend of Brazil, goes on Spanish television and not only praises Messi, but actively defends Argentina, claiming they were completely robbed by the refereeing, that is an absolute bombshell. It changes everything, because Ronaldinho has zero obligation to defend Argentina. None at all. In fact, the easy route, the comfortable path most people would take would be to stay quiet or even celebrate Argentina's downfall. But no, Ronaldinho went completely against the grain, shattering all expectations to speak the absolute truth. And that, my friends, is what separates the truly great from everyone else. That is what separates an absolute legend from just another former player. Ronaldinho proved his love for the game rises above any rivalry, and his respect for Messi transcends any national flag. All right, here we go. Now, let us get right into it. You have waited long enough, you have the context, and you understand the sheer magnitude of this. So let us look at exactly what Ronaldinho said, word for word, quote by quote, and I promise you, each sentence hits harder than the last. Sitting in that Spanish TV studio with his signature, unmistakable smile, Ronaldinho looked straight at the camera and dropped a massive truth bomb. He said Messi played in 2026 far better than in 2022. Far better. Do you realize what that means? In 2022, Messi was already the best player of the entire tournament. In 2022, Messi carried Argentina to a World Cup victory. In 2022, he did things that seemed physically impossible. Yet Ronaldinho claims that in 2026, 4 years older and at 39, Messi actually surpassed that legendary version of himself. It is enough to make you pinch yourself, to send a shiver straight down your spine, but wait, because he did not stop there. Ronaldinho went even further, saying Messi is a medical mystery, a literal case study to be analyzed by science, like when researchers encounter a phenomenon they cannot explain with known laws of physics and say, this needs a thorough investigation because it shatters everything we thought we knew about human limits. That is Lionel Messi to Ronaldinho, an absolutely inexplicable phenomenon. A 39-year-old athlete who is not slowing down, but actually getting better, constantly outdoing himself. And then came the quote that spread globally, the one that completely broke the internet. The line that set social media ablaze: Ronaldinho declared that Messi is, beyond any doubt, the greatest player in football history, the absolute best of all time. No exceptions, no debates, no arguments, just the greatest, period. Now, I know this sparks massive debate. I know people will scream from the rooftops, arguing that Pele or Maradona or Cristiano or someone else deserves that crown. But listen to this: when Ronaldinho, we are talking about a guy who has played with and against almost every legend of his era, witnessing elite soccer up close for decades. He knows exactly what it feels like to strike a ball at a level 99.9% of humans can only dream of. So when a legend like that tells you Messi is the undisputed greatest of all time, well, the whole debate pretty much falls apart. And he did not just stop at calling him the greatest in history, he went on to say something else. A detail that honestly hit me way harder. He flat out stated that absolutely no modern player has the raw ability to surpass Messi. Not one. Not Mbappe, not Haaland, not Bellingham, not Vinicius, not even Lamine Yamal. Nobody. Ronaldinho insists that even with Messi now playing at 39 years old, there is still not a single footballer on this planet who can touch him. That is a massive statement. A definitive verdict. It slaps a label on this entire current generation, basically saying, you are all very good, but you are not on his level. And want to know the craziest part? He is completely right. Just look at what Messi did in this World Cup. Look at his numbers, look at his performances. Watch how he dragged Argentina through every single game. Now, go ahead and compare that to what the supposed superstars of this generation managed. There is no real comparison here. Messi, at 39 years old, just went out and schooled every single one of them. But the most beautiful segment of this entire interview with Ronaldinho, the part that will truly touch your heart, the one that separates this video from all the noise, is when Ronaldinho stopped analyzing the superstar and began speaking about the actual man. Ronaldinho does not just respect Messi on the pitch. He admires him as a human being, and his words were truly special. He mentioned feeling immense pride in the exact person Messi has grown into today. Notice that specific word, pride. Not admiration, not just respect, though those are there too, but genuine pride. Like an older brother watching his little brother grow up and feeling deeply proud of everything he achieved. Ronaldinho first met Messi when Leo was just a tiny kid, an incredibly shy, quiet 17-year-old boy. He barely muttered a word in the locker room. Just a teenager with this massive, terrifying talent, but absolutely no concept of what professional soccer really meant. So Ronaldinho took him in, protected him, and guided him. He acted as his big brother in that Barcelona locker room. And now, 20 years down the road, Ronaldinho looks at what Messi has become and simply says, I am proud. I am proud of the legendary player, but also of the loyal friend and the true leader. Because Messi did not just grow as a footballer, he matured as a human being. He turned into a dressing room leader, a guiding light for his teammates, a guy who pulls the entire squad forward through his quiet humility and relentless work ethic. And that, my friends, is something you cannot buy or train. It is bred deep inside you. Right here, Ronaldinho dropped another line that left me completely stunned. He said he feels proud of having been a great teacher to Messi at Barcelona. A teacher, that is how he described himself, not just a teammate, not merely a friend, but a true teacher. That speaks volumes about their deep connection. Ronaldinho knows his part in Messi's early career was absolutely vital, that when Messi first stepped into the senior squad, it was Ronaldinho who made him feel like he truly belonged there. It was Ronaldinho who assisted his very first official goal in professional soccer. It was Ronaldinho who told the world to look after this kid because he is special. And you know what? Messi has never forgotten that. Messi has always spoken of Ronaldinho with immense affection, and now Ronaldinho is returning that warmth multiplied by 1,000. It is a beautiful story, honestly one of the finest things this game has ever produced. But now, let us get into the heavy stuff, the controversy, because Ronaldinho did not just stop at warm praise. Ronaldinho lit a massive fuse, saying something that sent major shockwaves straight through FIFA, the refereeing committees, and everyone who desperately tries to sweep these huge scandals under the rug. Ronaldinho claimed in that very interview that Argentina only missed out on winning the 2026 World Cup because bad officiating ruined their chances. He pointed directly to the red card of Enzo Fernandez as the exact moment they ripped away the opportunity for Argentina to retain their crown. That red card was totally unfair. It altered the match, it altered the entire tournament, and it rewrote history. Honestly, I believe Ronaldinho is absolutely right, because that sudden sending off of Enzo Fernandez was an absolute embarrassment. It was one of those shocking calls you watch live and just freeze. unable to understand it, with absolutely zero logical explanation. Argentina was competing, fighting with real heart, holding their heads high like the true defending champions they were. Then, a sudden red card drops them to 10 men, and playing with 10 men in a World Cup against elite teams is practically a death sentence. And the worst part was not even the red card itself. The worst part was the heavy fallout. Without Enzo Fernandez on the pitch, Argentina lost their absolute engine in midfield. They lost the guy connecting their defense to the attack. They lost balance, control, and tactical options. And Messi, who was playing phenomenally, was left completely isolated. He was stranded, trying to conjure miracles without the necessary support structure around him. I have zero doubt that Argentina with 11 men would have made that final and probably won it all, because the level they were playing at was honestly terrifying. But the officiating had other plans, and whether people admit it or not, it remains a permanent stain on this World Cup. Now let me ask you straight from the heart, do you truly believe that red card was actually a fair decision? Do you think the refereeing was up to the task in that match? Or do you agree with Ronaldinho and half the world that Argentina was completely robbed? For me, the answer is crystal clear, but I really want to hear your thoughts. Drop your take in the comments below. Let us get the debate going down there, because this is one controversy that we simply cannot ignore. And look at this next part. Think about how brave it was for Ronaldinho to speak out like this, especially since he is Brazilian. Brazil has absolutely zero interest in standing up for Argentina, quite the opposite, but Ronaldinho is just an honest guy. He always speaks his mind, and he truly believes Messi and Argentina deserved way more. For that to come from a legendary Brazilian rival makes his words absolutely priceless. But now, here is a twist you definitely did not see coming, because I saved this absolute bombshell for right now. Let us look at the other massive statement that just dropped. It is a statement Pep Guardiola just delivered about Messi, and trust me, what he said is just as powerful as Ronaldinho's words, if not even more shocking. Pep Guardiola, the tactical mastermind currently without a club after parting ways with Manchester City, is a man who has won literally every single trophy in the game. He is easily the most brilliant strategist of his generation, and he knows Messi better than almost anyone alive because he coached him during that legendary Barcelona era, widely considered the greatest team in history. Guardiola spoke up today, and his words are enough to make you stand up and applaud. Guardiola declared that Messi is the absolute greatest genius he has ever seen step onto a pitch. Not just the best player though, he is that too, but a true genius. There is a massive difference between those two labels. This world has seen plenty of great players, but actual, real-world geniuses are extremely rare. We are talking about players who pull off things that nobody else on earth can replicate. The kind of masterminds who see the pitch in a completely different dimension from mere mortals. There is only one of those, and his name is Messi. But his next confession is what really blew my mind. Guardiola openly admitted that he still watches every single one of Messi's games on television. Every single game, without a sole exception. This is Pep Guardiola, a manager who has run giants like Barcelona, Bayern Munich, and Manchester City. He has coached the absolute elite of global football, won multiple Champions League trophies, and dominated domestic leagues. Yet, he still sits on his couch to watch Messi play on television, just like an ordinary fan. Do you want to know why? Because Guardiola knows that what Messi does simply cannot be found anywhere else on earth. When that man touches the ball, things happen that do not happen with any other player. Watching Messi play is an absolute privilege, and Pep Guardiola refuses to miss even a single minute of that beautiful experience. That, my friends, speaks much louder than any statistic, louder than any Ballon d'Or, and way louder than any physical trophy. When the greatest manager in soccer history sits down to watch a player because he simply cannot bring himself to look away, because he is totally fascinated and amazed, you know you are witnessing something truly unique in the history of sports. Guardiola went even further than that. He admitted he is deeply grateful for having had the ultimate privilege of coaching Messi back at Barcelona. Now, I want you to pay really close attention to that specific word he used, privilege. He did not call it an honor. He did not call it an opportunity. He called it a privilege, like managing Messi was a priceless gift from life itself. And when you really think about it, he is absolutely right. Guardiola has coached literally hundreds of elite players. He has managed superstars like Xavi, Iniesta, Lewandowski, De Bruyne, and Aguero, every single one of them a world-class legend. Yet despite all that talent, Guardiola still insists that Messi was special, that Messi was completely different from everyone else, and that Messi was the absolute greatest privilege of his entire professional career. Guardiola also mentioned something else that has sparked massive debate. He stated that there is simply nobody else like Messi. Nobody in the past, nobody today, and probably nobody for a long time. He said Messi is a player who is quite literally impossible for any defense in the world to mark. Notice how he said impossible, not difficult, not complicated, but impossible. We are talking about Guardiola, the very man who designed the most sophisticated tactics in modern soccer history. The guy who literally invented entirely new ways to play that nobody had ever imagined before. And he says there is no defensive system that works against Messi. Do you realize what that actually means? It means if you ask the single greatest tactical mastermind in soccer history how to stop Messi, his answer is simple: you cannot. There is no defensive system, there is no strategy, and there is no plan. Messi is going to do exactly what Messi wants to do, and the defender standing in front of him can only pray. Now for Guardiola's final pearl of wisdom, the absolute icing on the cake. He pointed out that besides being incredibly skillful, Messi is also exceptionally lethal when it comes to finishing. And that is a quality that a lot of football fans do not appreciate quite enough. Whenever we talk about Messi, we always focus heavily on the brilliant dribbling, those impossible passes, and his supernatural vision on the pitch. But Guardiola wanted to remind everyone that Messi is also a ruthless goal scorer, and once he gets inside that penalty area, when he gets the ball in front of the keeper, he is completely lethal, a relentless goal-scoring machine. Even at 39, he still does it. Now, piece it all together. Take what Ronaldinho just said and combine it with Guardiola's words. These are two of the absolute sharpest soccer minds on the face of the planet. These two have absolutely zero obligation to praise Lionel Messi. Remember, one is Brazilian, and the other is no longer his manager. Yet both say the exact same thing. They agree. They are both pointing to the same inescapable truth: Messi is the greatest of all time. Messi actually played this World Cup better than any other tournament before. At 39 years old, he remains completely unbeatable. Messi is an extraordinary human being, and Argentina deserved much more from this World Cup. That is not a fluke, it is not marketing, and it is not some hype campaign. That is just pure reality. A reality that hurts many, makes others uncomfortable, but is completely undeniable. Now, let me share a quick thought, because this really matters. I think we need to pause for a second and truly appreciate what we are witnessing. Messi is 39, and even though he feels eternal and defies all logic year after year, the day will come when he finally retires. One day he will stop playing. We will watch his final match. And when that day inevitably comes, and I hope it is a long way off, but when it does, do you know what we will feel? A massive void that no other player can ever fill. Because Ronaldinho is right. There is nobody out there right now who can match Messi or even get close. And when Messi leaves, soccer will lose something it can never replace. So I ask you one thing: just enjoy it. Savor every single game he has left. Relish every dribble, every goal, and every assist. Savor every magic moment, because we are watching a player who comes around once in human history. Just once, and we are lucky enough to witness it. And this brings me to the greatest question of this video. The question I want to blow up the comment section. The one that should spark the ultimate debate. Do you agree with Ronaldinho that the refereeing completely robbed Argentina of the World Cup? Or do you believe Argentina lost because their opponent played a better game? Tell me what you think below. I want to read every opinion, argument, and point of view, because this topic deserves it. And tell me who has more authority to talk about Messi. Ronaldinho, who shared a locker room with him, or Guardiola, who coached him for years? Or are they both right because they offer different complementary angles? For me, and this is just my personal take, they are both 100% right. Ronaldinho speaks straight from the heart, guided by friendship, and from the experience of playing right alongside Messi. Guardiola speaks from strategy and deep analysis, having studied Messi closer than anyone else alive. Both paths lead to the same spot. Messi is absolutely one of a kind. Now, let us address one more thing. Some people will argue, well, Ronaldinho is his friend, so of course he is going to hype him up. To those skeptics, I say this: Ronaldinho is also close friends with Neymar, but you have never heard him claim Neymar is the greatest ever. Ronaldinho knows every superstar on the planet and has played with and against the absolute best. If he says Messi is number one, it is because he is. That is not friendship, it is reality. It strengthens his claim, it does not ruin it. It is the same with Guardiola. He coached De Bruyne, who is a genius. He coached Lewandowski, a clinical goal-scoring machine. He coached Xavi and Iniesta, two guys who literally changed how the game is played. Yet he never called any of them the greatest genius he has ever seen. Only Messi. Just one man. And that completely settles the debate. You know what I think? 50 years from now, when our grandkids study the game and watch the footage, when they read the stats and dissect the matches, are they actually going to understand what we are saying here? They are going to realize that Messi was a once-in-a-lifetime phenomenon, something the soccer world had never witnessed before, and will likely never see again. And they will look back at this era and think about how incredibly lucky those who saw him play live truly were. But they will also look back at this 2026 World Cup. They will see how a 39-year-old Messi was still the absolute best player in the entire tournament, and they will see how Argentina was completely robbed. And they will look at these statements from Ronaldinho and Guardiola and realize that they already knew it, they saw it all along. Messi was the greatest of all time, and the people who lived through his era recognized it. And let me tell you something, do you know what the most incredible part of all this is? Messi has not said a single word. Messi has not once complained about the refereeing. Messi has not stepped forward to demand any recognition. Messi has not gone out to declare that he is the greatest in history. No, he has simply stepped back and let everyone else do the talking. He has let Ronaldinho and Guardiola say the things that he would never say himself. Because Messi is humble and quiet, letting his game do all the talking. And that, my friends, is what true greatness looks like. Real greatness never has to shout. True greatness is when the people around you, the ones who watched you up close and know you better than anyone else, are the first to step forward and tell the world this guy is just built different. He is the greatest to ever play the game. He is a medical anomaly we should be studying in a lab. And before we wrap this up, there is one more crucial thing you need to understand about what Ronaldinho actually meant. When a legend like Ronaldinho claims that Messi gets even sharper and more dangerous with every single passing year, it is not some wild exaggeration or a cheap compliment to make headlines. No way. It is a cold, hard fact. Just look at how Messi evolved over the last 3 or 4 years playing in MLS. He proved he could completely dominate an entire league without even breaking a sweat. During the grueling World Cup qualifiers with Argentina, he was still the ultimate playmaker in every big moment. And in this 2026 tournament, he reached a level that absolutely nobody could have predicted. The truth is, at 39 years old, Messi reads the game far better than he ever did at 28. He does not need to run like a maniac anymore or pull off 80-meter sprints. Instead, he has learned to sniff out the perfect pockets of space, passing the ball at the exact microsecond, and making the right decision every single time. His sheer soccer IQ has more than made up for any physical decline, and what we are left with is a player who genuinely seems to get better as the clock ticks on, a feat that should be biologically impossible. Yet, Messi does it. Ronaldinho saw it. Guardiola saw it. Honestly, half the planet has witnessed it. And that is exactly why we are dissecting this today, because what Messi just accomplished in this World Cup cannot be swept under the rug. It deserves to be written in stone for the rest of history. Now, it is time for the finish line. But right before we do, I have one final question, and I need you to be completely honest with me. Have you ever in your entire life witnessed anything even close to what Messi does on the pitch? Have you ever seen a 39-year-old athlete stand alone as the absolute best in the world at their chosen sport, towering over all the hungry young talent and leaving the next generation completely in the dust? Not me. I have never seen anything like this, and I am fairly certain I never will again. So go ahead and drop your honest thoughts down in the comments. Tell me if you side with Ronaldinho. Tell me if you agree with Pep Guardiola. Tell me if you think some scandalous refereeing ended up robbing Argentina of this entire World Cup. And do you honestly believe anyone will ever be capable of surpassing Messi? Because for me, the answer is crystal clear, but I want to hear what you guys have to say.